Hi, how are you? Thank you for joining us. This is Evelyn Gutierrez. Welcome to Live with Evelyn. I'm a realtor with Keller Williams here in the Tampa area, and I am delighted to have here as my guest today Jaime Yepes. He is a loan officer with Waterstone Mortgage Corporation. Thank you for being here today.
Oh, it's a pleasure being here. Thank you for having me, Evelyn.
Oh, listen, I'm honored to have you here. I have a lot of good questions for you.
Okay.
I want to be educated and make sure that our fellow, people that are tuning in know, who to look for when they're in need for a loan and the questions to ask and just, get more comfortable with the whole process.
Okay.
Now, if you can tell us a little bit about you and about Waterstone Mortgage.
About me, I'm retired military. I spent about 22 and a half years in the Army. I joined when I was 17 out of New York, tried it out. I liked it, stayed there for 22 and a half years.
Wow.
Retired in 2001, got into this business by accident. A friend of mine recruited me into it, didn't know what it was about. Ever since I've been in this business, I love what I do. I get the sense of satisfaction, just like I did when I was in the military during recruiting. I used to recruit people. You get the satisfaction when they come back from basic training. Here is the satisfaction of seeing the person at the closing get the keys, satisfaction,
Absolutely.
being happy and stuff like that. Besides that, Waterstone Mortgage is a small bank. Since we sell directly to Fannie and Freddie Mac, it gives us the opportunity to not have those crazy overlays that so many other banks are dealing with.
No backlogs or added stress.
No added stress. I mean, I've been able to do loans in about 16 days to do a closing for a purchase in VA. It's an excellent opportunity for me. I mean, I worked in other big banks, but this is for me the best I could imagine.
And that's good to hear, especially with him being, former military, right?
Oh, yeah.
Who better, if you have any questions or an interest in a VA loan, than to ask, a veteran.
Correct,
so
yeah.
that's perfect. Now, what exactly is the minimum credit score? If you can tell us a little bit about that.
Well, right now, with all the new changes and everything that are in place, the minimum credit score for a FHA loan, any type of loan, is about 640. It's 640. There are other programs that you could do below 640, but they're so strict, that not too many people qualify. And the one factor that I key in and I tell people to concentrate on is to please take care of the credit. If you got a 640 credit score and you have a few issues, I'm able to help them with the Florida bond, because that's the minimum requirement to get a down payment assistance, which I enjoy doing because it's there for the public to use if they qualify. If they're a first-time home buyer, it's an excellent opportunity for them to be able to get into a home.
Wonderful, wonderful. And how would they go about applying for the Florida bond? Is it something that they have to take a class or anything with the county, or they go directly to you? Or
No,
how does that work?
They could go to. I work with Housing Education Alliance. Okay. It's a nonprofit organization that teaches the course for first-time home buyers. You call them, set up the appointment, look at the schedule, go take the class. It is a requirement, no matter what type of down payment assistance program you use, you have to take the class. For me, I think I'm a firm believer that everybody should take that class, no matter whether you're a first-time home buyer or not. It gives you the insights of what the whole process is about and really educates the consumer, because the problem with what we had before with all the other problems that we had in the real estate market years ago, just recently that we're still recovering from, is that people were not educated and they were taken advantage of. This gives them an opportunity to really know the process, get to be educated so that they don't fall in that trap of, ending up losing their home, foreclosure, short sale, and stuff like that. So I recommend it. I wish that they enforce it. But for every down payment assistance, you have to do the home buyers education class.
And that's great that that's available and that they have the opportunity to educate themselves, because you want to be able to be in your home forever. Certainly don't want to lose it. So the better educated and better prepared you are, it's a win-win for everyone.
It is, and I love what I do. The satisfaction of helping every home buyer, and it's challenging, but it's the satisfaction that I get of seeing them get those
The
keys.
look on the
Yeah,
faces, yeah,
they hug you and kiss
special.
you, and they say thank you. And I've been invited to many cookouts. Oh, when I get my house, I'm gonna do a cookout. I've been to one. So it's just they get into the excitement, they get in their home, but that's the key thing, that satisfaction of them having that home, the American dream,
American
because
dream.
my market, I work a lot of the Hispanic market, they kind of program, you got to come to America, you got to work hard, you got to save money, you got to own a home, and statistically, the Hispanic market is the one market that continues to purchase a home, no matter how bad the economy is. If it's good or bad, rates go up and down. They're constantly moving the market because that's what they came here, the American dream, to own their home. So it's a great market to work with. It's a little bit challenging, but I love what I do. I love my job. I do it with passion, and it's exciting. Every day it's something.
That's so good to hear, because it's the difference of, from a customer standpoint, of dealing with someone that's just there trying to pass the hours, right, looking anxious to go home, versus someone that truly enjoys and is there to help and serve the public. It's a big difference.
And the thing is, my key thing is educating the person so that they understand the process. It's not just go buying a car. Buying a home is the largest investment you'll ever make in your life. And that's why you have to be educated. That's why I recommend, even if some of my buyers are using the down payment assistance, I still give them the number for Housing Education Alliance for them. Hey, call this number, take the class. It costs you $50, but it's the best $50 and the best 8 hours that you'll spend educating yourself about what is to own a home and the process you got to go through.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
That's why I encourage
which is something that they can pass on to their children and share with family members and so forth. Now, who exactly is considered a first-time home buyer?
Okay, first-time home buyer is anybody that has not owned a home or been entitled for the last 3 years.
3 years.
If you have owned a home 5 years ago, you sold it and you went to rent, or you got moved somewhere else and you came back, as long as you have not been entitled in the last 3 years, you are considered a first-time home buyer.
They're good to go. Good,
yes.
Good. Now, what down payment is required for FHA, for example, conventional, VA, USDA?
For FHA, it's a 3.5% down payment. That is one of the, it's a government-backed loan. VA, if you're a veteran, it's 100% financing. You could get a loan, 100% financing. USDA, it's a great loan, and the one catch is you gotta live. The property's gotta be in a rural area. So in the outskirts, down in Ruskin area, Riverview, some places like that, way in the end of Valrico.
Some areas of Pasco.
Some areas of Pasco County, Hernando. Those areas, if you go to USDA.gov and you look at the property, you type in the address, it'll let you know if the property is eligible for USDA financing. It's 100%. The great thing about the USDA loan is that it has no mortgage insurance premium with comparison with FHA. VA loan doesn't have no mortgage insurance. On a conventional loan, typically you need 20% down. The only way you're not going to need 20% down is if you have great credit and you got to have a 720 or higher. Then there's a possibility we only ask you for 10% or 5% down. So you do a 5%, but the benefit, you're going to have mortgage insurance, but since your credit is so good, your mortgage insurance premium is going to be a lot less.
That.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot less than FHA, because the new changes with the FHA, the mortgage insurance premium is hefty, and you're stuck with that mortgage insurance premium for 30 years now. Doesn't go away. like
wow,
I used to.
That's a big difference.
It's a huge difference.
Oh, my goodness. Now, where can buyers take the homeowners education class that's required?
Well, like I mentioned before, you could go to Housing Education Alliance. You could find them online, or you could call them at 813-932-4663. They have both. They'll be able to talk to them in Spanish and English. They'll be able to tell them what the schedule is.
Oh,
they could pay. They follow the directions. Sometimes they'll send them to the website. If not, they take the payment. They could bring a money order to the class the day that they take it, or pay via PayPal on the internet. The classes are usually done once a month. As a matter of fact, I'm just finishing my certification because the Brandon, Ruskin area doesn't have that. There's not an opportunity for first-time home buyers to go to a class. They got to come all the way into Tampa. So I'm in the process of finding a place where I could go ahead and do the class in that area and promote it, to help first-time home buyers, that there is a class in that area, because there's nothing on that side of Hillsborough County. So
what a shame.
Yeah, but I'm excited. I think a lot of people are going to be coming to the class. It's going to be both in English and Spanish.
I was getting ready to ask.
Yeah, it's going to be both languages. It's in languages. We'll get 2 rooms. We're looking for a location now where we have 2 rooms. My other partner that I work with, she'll do Spanish, I'll do English, and we'll just rotate back and forth. But Housing Education Alliance, I know if you go to if you look up online and look up HUD approved first-time home buyers education, there's all type of different organizations out there that do promote the class and do provide it. But I'm so used to working with Housing Education Alliance. I work with them. I know how they work. That's the one that I promote. The number is so easy to learn. It's 932-4663. House, home. It's 932 home. So that's how I learned it. And I worked with them. I recommend everybody, no matter if you owned a home before, go take the class. It's good knowledge for you. It'll educate you, and you'll be a more informed consumer, and as a home buyer, you'll know exactly what you're gonna get into, so that you don't fall into pitfalls that are gonna get you into trouble and lose your home.
And I would think that having all that information, you're armed with that much more confidence, to help you throughout the process.
Correct.
Till you reach the closing table.
And they're there to serve the community. They're a nonprofit. Even if you take the class and you have questions, you got concerns or whatever, you always could reach out to them. Good. They'll answer the questions. If people get in trouble, like before you get in trouble, you're going to get in trouble to lose your home, they're there to assist you. Wow. They're there to assist you before you end up going for foreclosure, short sale. If you need a loan modification, they're there to assist you. It's excellent. I mean, from all the nonprofits that I've dealt with before and that want to help the community.
That's great information. And I really appreciate it.
Yeah, so it's great for the...
Now, how do you apply for a mortgage as a first-time home buyer? They can contact you directly?
Yeah, there's 2 ways that I usually do my pre-qualifications. Well, 3 ways. You call me, 813-695-3868. Give me a call. I'll be able to talk to you. If you don't have a computer, I'll be able to talk to you over the phone, get all the details on the application. I'll get as much as I can over the phone. I'll ask you verbally, if I could get your, pull your credit. Once I pull your credit, put all the information, I'll let you know how much you qualify for. You could also go online. You could go to my website. It's 1-800-CALL-YEPES.com.
Okay.
Do the full application, and it gives you step by step what you need to do to qualify, to do your application. Once you submit the application, I'll get it in about 5 minutes. I get an email alert. I get an email alert to have you, once you have applied, I'll be able to get it, and I'll give you an answer within 24 hours. My goal is to pre-qualify everybody within 24-hour period to be able to give you the answer, the consumer, so you could go find a realtor to find a home. That's my main focus.
Great information. And we're going to be sharing his copy of his business card on our screen here in a few minutes as well. So you have Jaime Yepes' information with Waterstone Mortgage. Not a problem. Now, does the money received for down payment assistance, does that need to be repaid? Or?
Well, there's different programs. The Florida bond, when you get the $10,000, it's money that you're going to have to repay it. It's something that is given to first-time home buyers that don't have the funds. The minimum required for them for Florida bond, you got to have an investment of $1,000. That's the minimum. The rest of the money, the $10,000, we use for down payment assistance and closing costs.
Okay.
It is a zero interest for 30 years, but either if you refinance your house, if you sell your house, you have to pay that money back. There's other programs like the NSP Neighborhood Stabilization Program, the Hillsborough County. Those programs are available, and those after a certain amount of time, 5 years or longer, that you stay in the home, it's forgotten. You don't have to repay it. Florida bond, I work with the Florida bond because they always have funds. There's always funds available, and the process that we have is very quick with them. The other programs that we have, they're there. They're a little bit, lengthy, but the catch is if they run out of money, then there's nothing that we could do about it. I mean, the state of Florida has a lot of money to help, each borrower. It's $10,000. It used to be $7,500. They increased it to $10,000, and $10,000 is a big chunk of money.
When it could make or break someone's deal.
But it's when you look at it, your initial investment is just $1,000.
Exactly.
So it's something. Some people may not have the 3.5% that they need to buy a home. Maybe they don't have the $3,500 and $100,000 home, but with the $10,000, we could do $3,500. We put the down payment plus the closing costs, and then sometimes the seller does give a seller credit. That also helps, so we could be able to help them get home. There is some guidelines with all down payment assistance. You cannot go past a certain debt to income ratio. And maximum debt to income ratio is 43%. Okay, and your housing ratio cannot be more than 33%. But with the Florida bond, they let you go up a little bit higher. You could go up to like 40 and stuff like that. But it's a great program. Even though the Florida bond, you have to repay it, it's out there. It's money that a lot of people are not aware that it's there. I mean, a couple could make up to $68,000 a year combined, and they still qualify to get the Florida bond.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
That's a great program.
And if they need information, just please reach out, to me, and I'll be more than happy. I'll let you know if you qualify, if you don't qualify for a Florida bond, and then move forward.
It sounds like a great program. Now, what is your turnaround time for pre-qualification when that's needed?
Usually I try to get my pre-qualifications done within 24 hours. If you apply today, you apply online, I start working on my computer. I'm sometimes a workaholic. I wake up 3:30 in the morning and I can't sleep. I go to work. I've done it before, but usually within 24 hours, maximum 48 hours, I'll do everything. I'll send the borrower their pre-approval letter. If they're working with a realtor, you'll get a copy of the pre-approval letter as well, and it gives the home buyer a little sense of security that hey, okay, I'm pre-approved. I need to send some documents, but now at least I could start looking for a home.
Exactly.
And that's the thing, the process because a lot of people want to go look at homes, but they don't have no clue how much they could afford, if they could even qualify to buy a home. And the way prices are gas these days, I know a lot of realtors just want to drive somebody around. So,
and it's a heartbreaker for them to fall in love or see a home that they can't afford.
Correct.
And it helps everyone. This way, you know exactly what you're working with.
Correct, and it's like I said, the satisfaction is of doing that job and helping every person attain their home. It's something that is fun. It's challenging, but like I said, I love what I do.
And that's the key thing. I think when you enjoy what you do, it almost doesn't seem, I know it sounds cliche, but doesn't even seem like it's work. You know what I mean? Like you really enjoy it.
Yeah,
it's like you're with family.
Yeah, it's like, to me, it's like when I was in the Army, I had passion. I loved the Army, and I do my job, I'm very passionate with what I do. Sometimes I could be too passionate with borrowers because you got to tell them, you got to guide them. But sometimes, I'm military, so I'm very strict to the point. I say you cannot do that. It's something, and some borrowers you have to guide them and tell them straight. You got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this if you want to own a home. If you cannot follow the guidance that I'm giving you, then they
need that guidance. They absolutely do. I remember as a notary public in a closing years ago, we actually sat about 3 hours and change because a young couple in their early 20s, excuse me, purchased almost $12,000 of furniture.
You're kidding.
Almost $12,000 of furniture. And she was in tears, and I don't know what happened behind the scenes. I know they kept saying, wait, another half hour or another, we're waiting. And they were both beside themselves. Long story short, I think someone paid for it.
Yeah.
It had to be paid for completely or they wouldn't have had a house. So it's just details like that they really need to know. Hold off on all major purchases, regardless of what it is, because if you were borderline, it could just tip you to the wrong side.
One of the biggest things that we encounter in this business is large deposits. Any deposit in your account that is not from your regular paycheck, that cannot be explained or sourced. If it's from a check, then there's something. But some people have the tendency of just depositing cash. Ever since 9/11, with all the changes that happened, you cannot use cash to purchase a home. If we cannot source, if you had we call in Spanish, they got the mattress money. They got mattress money. There's nothing that we could do. If you had it at home, we could source it. If we can't source it, we're just gonna deduct that amount from whatever you have. And if you don't have enough, you just killed your own deal. So if you have funds, put them in the bank. Wait 2-3 months before you start your process. That way, there's no large deposit. Yeah, it's accountable. It's been sitting in your bank account for a long time, and it doesn't kill your deal. Because I've had, I got one that is right there at the border, but I had one last month. She killed her own deal with the large deposits.
And see, these are the little things why I enjoy having, professionals like yourself come on the show, because these are things that people may not think of that it's a big deal, but it is.
It is. And it's just about it's the crucial points in the transaction that you got to educate the community so that they know, hey, I want to buy a house, but hey, I got $10,000 in the house. No, just go little by little, deposit it in the bank, then wait enough time so that when we ask for the last 2 months' bank statements, there's no reflection of a large deposit, and they'll go very smooth. But when you have 500 here, 700 here, and a deposit,
pieces of a puzzle
that you cannot explain, it's all cash. It's tough to do. It's tough deals.
What would you recommend to someone that doesn't have credit? How would they obtain credit to start looking for a loan?
Well, there's for FHA, they accept what's called in conventional and VA, you could do what's called alternative credit. Alternative credit, we take one of the key things, and it's not, you have to have rental history. Okay, you got to have, if you pay rent to an individual, do not pay him in cash. Pay him by check, because that's the only way we're going to be able to substantiate 12 months of rental history. Your checks, your canceled checks, and always paid on the first of the month. Now, we'll use rent for 12 months. If they don't have nothing else, they have no credit score, we use their cable bill, water bill, electric bill, cell phone, car insurance. If your car insurance, I mean, everybody has car insurance. That's proof. What we do is we we request all the information. Then we have a third-party verification, which they get all the information for us. They send it to the credit bureau. A week and a half later, you'll have a credit score. We'll get a credit report with the credit score and the lines of credit that you have established. Because a lot of Spanish people come to this country. Nobody has informed them, hey, you hear, this country runs on credit. You have to go out there and establish credit, and you tell them, go get credit. Go get a credit card, a secure card, buy a car with somebody else. But establish a credit so that you're able to purchase a home when the time comes down to it.
And especially when trying to establish credit, I know they typically recommend, for example, a secured card.
Secured cards from a bank are great.
Exactly. If you get like a $300 secured card, they recommend not to go charge the $300. In fact, they recommend 10% to keep that below the $30.
30%. They keep it, if you got, $300 credit, don't spend more than $100 and just continue and pay it on time. That is the one way you'll be able to establish credit if you have it. But if you never had credit and there's a way for us to prove 12 months of payment history and one of them has to be rent and you have electric bill, we'll help you do that. And then you'll be able to buy a home. Another thing, that I tell people, save. You need at least 3.5% down. And it's crucial that they have it.
Good. A lot of good information. And we're going to be transitioning here shortly to our Spanish program, so please stay tuned. And we'll be sharing Jaime Yepes' card information here shortly as well. He's located here in Tampa, actually at, is it 3001 North Rocky Point? Okay, Drive and Suite 241A.
Correct.
In Tampa.
Yeah.
And let us know your phone number again.
My phone number is 813-695-3868. My website is 1-800-CALL-YEPES.com.
Okay, we have your card on the screen for those watching. Not a problem. I'm so glad that you were able to make it here. It's always
an honor to be here. I think something
likewise.
that I could educate and help the community. Hey, glad to be here.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me, Evelyn.
Here. And my thanks to Keller Williams, my broker in New Tampa, as well as Talk Watch Studios for making this program happen, and my producer, Chris. See you next week. Bye-bye.
See you.